In relationships, it's natural to want to be wanted, to be missed when we're not around. But often, the more we chase after someone's attention, the more it slips away. So, how can we make someone miss us without needing to play mind games or manipulate their feelings? The answer lies in a surprising source: Stoicism. This ancient philosophy, founded by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, teaches us how to control our emotions, focus on what we can control, and live with integrity. When we apply Stoic principles to relationships, we can naturally become more attractive and, ironically, more likely to be missed. Let's explore how the Stoic way can make someone miss you badly without needing to chase them. 1. Emotional independence. Find fulfillment within yourself. Emotional independence is one of the core principles of Stoicism, and it plays a vital role in making others miss you. The idea behind emotional independence is that we should not rely on others to dictate our emotional well-being. Instead, we should cultivate an internal source of happiness that is not dependent on the approval, affection, or attention of others. This principle is deeply rooted in the teachings of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who stress the importance of self-sufficiency and the ability to find contentment within oneself. When you stop depending on someone else for your happiness, you create a sense of emotional independence. This doesn't mean that you stop caring about the other person or that you don't value the relationship. It simply means that your emotional state is not tethered to their actions or attention. You learn to find joy and fulfillment without needing constant validation or affirmation from them. As a result, you naturally become less needy and more confident in your own presence. This shift in mindset can make you more attractive to others because people are generally drawn to those who have a strong sense of themselves. When you are emotionally independent, you exude confidence and a healthy sense of self-worth. You don't chase after the approval of others, and you don't let their actions, whether positive or negative, affect your mood or sense of self. This quiet confidence is magnetic and makes you more intriguing to those around you. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, often wrote about the importance of being self-sufficient. His personal journals, known as the Meditations, are filled with reflections on the need to maintain inner peace and happiness, regardless of external circumstances. For Marcus, true happiness was not found in the approval or attention of others, but in living a virtuous life and focusing on what is within our control. This idea of emotional independence is central to Stoic thought, and it is one of the reasons why Stoicism is such a powerful tool for improving relationships. When you follow this Stoic principle and focus on your own growth and well-being, you become less dependent on others for validation. Instead of seeking constant reassurance, you find fulfillment in your own journey. This makes you more attractive in relationships, because people are often drawn to individuals who are emotionally grounded and not constantly seeking approval. The more you develop your emotional independence, the more others will recognize your inner strength and resilience. They'll begin to miss the energy and confidence you bring to the relationship because they'll sense that you are someone who is complete on your own and that your presence is a gift, not a necessity. A practical way to develop emotional independence is to spend time doing things that make you feel fulfilled. This could include pursuing hobbies that bring you joy, focusing on your career or personal growth, or taking care of your mental and physical health. When you are happy and content with yourself, others will naturally be drawn to you. They'll see that you are someone who values themselves and their time, and they will begin to miss your presence when you're not around. The key is to cultivate a life that is rich in meaning and purpose, so that when others are not there to validate you, you still feel whole and satisfied. 2. Control your emotions. Don't let their actions affect you. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the idea that we cannot control what others do, but we always have control over how we react to it. This emotional resilience is essential in navigating relationships with confidence and grace. The Stoics taught that external events, including the actions or inactions of others, should not dictate our emotional state. Instead, it is our response to these events that ultimately shapes our emotional experience. This principle empowers us to maintain our inner peace, regardless of the turmoil that may surround us. When you stop letting the actions, words, or silence of others define how you feel, you gain control over your emotional state. Instead of reacting impulsively with frustration, disappointment, or anxiety, you choose to remain calm and composed. This type of emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings, it's about choosing how to respond to them in a way that aligns with your values and self respect. By practicing emotional resilience, you create a stable foundation for yourself that is not easily shaken by the external world. Seneca, one of the leading Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of controlling our reactions. He famously stated, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This reflects the idea that much of our emotional suffering comes from our own thoughts and interpretations of events, rather than from the events themselves. When we worry about whether someone misses us or not, we create unnecessary emotional turmoil. We let our imagination run wild, filling in the gaps with negative assumptions. According to Stoic thought, this is a waste of energy and prevents us from experiencing peace of mind. By embracing Stoic principles, we stop allowing someone else's behavior to dictate how we feel. Instead, we focus on what is within our control, our reactions. If someone doesn't text you back or seems distant, rather than reacting with frustration or self-doubt, you can remind yourself that their actions do not define your worth. You are not responsible for their behavior, and their silence or distance does not diminish your value. This realization brings a sense of freedom, as it frees you from the emotional roller coaster of needing to control or influence someone else's actions to maintain your sense of self-worth. This emotional stability and resilience make you more attractive to others. People are often drawn to individuals who remain calm and unshaken, even in the face of uncertainty or conflict. When you are able to stay composed and steady, you exude confidence and emotional strength, qualities that are magnetically appealing. Your emotional stability allows others to feel more at ease around you, knowing that you are not easily swayed by the unpredictable nature of relationships. They may begin to miss your presence because they recognize the peace and grounding that you bring to the dynamic. A practical tip for practicing emotional resilience is to take a deep breath and pause before reacting to someone's behavior. The next time they don't text you back or seem distant, instead of spiraling into frustration or worry, practice grounding yourself in the present moment. Remind yourself that their actions do not define your worth. You have the power to choose your response, and by choosing calmness, you will feel more in control of your emotions. This calmness will not only help you maintain your inner peace, but will also make you more magnetic and compelling to others. In turn, you will become someone who others find themselves missing, not because you are playing games or seeking attention, but because your emotional resilience and stability are qualities that others can't help but admire. 3. Non-attachment. Don't cling to the outcome. Non-attachment is one of the core principles of Stoicism. It teaches us to accept the things we cannot control, especially in relationships, and to release our expectations without losing our sense of self. The Stoics emphasize that we cannot control other people's feelings, thoughts, or actions, nor can we control the outcomes of our relationships. Instead of clinging to these desires, we are encouraged to focus on what is within our control, our actions, thoughts, and reactions. When it comes to making someone miss you, the Stoic principle of non-attachment plays a crucial role. When you stop fixating on whether someone misses you or not, you create the necessary emotional space for them to genuinely feel your absence. This is not about playing mind games or intentionally withdrawing to create desire. Rather, it's about releasing the need to control the situation. By doing so, you allow the relationship to unfold naturally, and your absence becomes more noticeable and impactful because it's not being forced or manufactured. When you are not attached to the outcome, you make your presence more valuable and your absence more meaningful. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, often taught that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement holds profound wisdom, especially in the context of relationships. If you cling to the idea of being missed, you are essentially giving away your power. You become dependent on the other person's feelings, and this attachment can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and frustration. By letting go of the need to control whether they miss you, you regain your emotional sovereignty. You stop relying on external validation to feel good about yourself, and in doing so, you free up emotional space for the other person to genuinely miss you in their own time and on their own terms. Another important aspect of non-attachment is learning to find fulfillment and joy independently of others. In the Stoic worldview, happiness is not something that should be contingent on external factors like someone's affection or approval. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus on cultivating inner peace and contentment through self-improvement, personal growth, and the pursuit of virtue. By engaging in activities that bring you joy, such as pursuing hobbies, working on your career, or deepening your understanding of your own values, you cultivate a sense of fulfillment that is independent of others. This not only makes you more attractive and intriguing, but also creates the emotional space for someone else to miss you. When you are focused on your own growth and happiness, you become less anxious about whether the other person is thinking about you or missing you. Your emotional energy is directed inward, and that shift can make you more desirable and magnetic. A practical tip for practicing non-attachment in relationships is to stop worrying about whether the other person is thinking about you or missing you. Instead of constantly checking your phone or wondering if they're thinking of you, focus on doing things that genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. Engage in activities that make you feel alive and connected to your true self. When you stop obsessing over their feelings, you free yourself from the emotional weight of expectation. This shift in focus will not only make you feel better about yourself, but will also create the space for the other person to feel the absence of your presence. Your absence will not be a calculated move to make them miss you, but a natural result of your own emotional independence. They will miss you because they recognize the value of your presence and the unique energy you bring to the relationship. 4. Cultivate self-worth. Make yourself irreplaceable. Self-worth, in Stoic philosophy, is grounded in living in alignment with one's values, rather than relying on external validation. The Stoics believe that true worth comes not from the opinions of others, but from the integrity with which we live our lives. When you know your own value and live authentically, you don't feel the need to seek approval or validation from anyone. This is a profound shift from the way most people approach relationships and self-esteem. When you live by your principles, you build a sense of worth that is stable and unshakable, regardless of what others think. In the context of making someone miss you, this Stoic principle becomes incredibly powerful. When you are truly comfortable with who you are and unapologetically live according to your values, you become irreplaceable. People are naturally drawn to those who are confident, authentic, and grounded in their own sense of self-worth. When you can stand strong in your own identity, you stop chasing external validation, and instead, you create an aura of mystery and allure. Your absence becomes more noticeable because you offer something rare and valuable, your authentic self. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the importance of living a virtuous life. He believed that true fulfillment came not from external success or admiration, but from acting with integrity, wisdom, and justice. He wrote in his meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This message is clear. The path to self-worth is through virtuous action, not seeking approval. When you embody these values, you become someone people respect and admire, and your absence will be felt deeply. You become a reminder of what they value in a relationship: authenticity, integrity, and a strong sense of self. When you are deeply aligned with your values and live authentically, your presence becomes meaningful and your absence becomes significant. People miss you not because you're playing games or trying to get their attention, but because you bring something unique to the table. You offer a sense of stability, confidence, and purpose that others may find difficult to replicate. Your absence creates a void, and it's not just about missing the physical presence, but the energy, authenticity, and depth you bring to the relationship. A practical tip for cultivating this sense of self-worth is to focus on your personal growth. Pursue your passions, develop your skills, and engage with your values. Spend time doing things that bring you joy and fulfillment, and work on becoming the best version of yourself. When you live authentically and act in alignment with your principles, you naturally stand out. You become someone others can't help but respect and admire. And when you're not around, they'll miss your presence because they recognize the unique qualities you bring to the relationship. In relationships, the people who are most missed are not those who depend on others for validation, but those who have a strong sense of self. By living according to your values, you make yourself irreplaceable. You show others what it means to live with purpose. And in doing so, you give them something they can't find in anyone else: your authentic, confident self. 5. Live in the present. Make every moment count. The Stoics emphasize the power of living in the present moment. They remind us that the only time we truly have is now. Instead of worrying about the future or dwelling on past mistakes, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control in the present. This principle is vital not just for personal peace, but also for cultivating meaningful relationships. By focusing on the here and now, we can create deeper connections that leave a lasting impact on others. When you give someone your full attention and presence, you create meaningful and memorable experiences. People are more likely to miss you because they'll remember the value of the time spent with you. The Stoic idea of being fully present in the moment is a powerful tool for making your absence felt when you're not around. If you are constantly distracted or mentally elsewhere, your time together may feel shallow or forgettable. But when you commit to being present, you create moments that are valuable and hard to replicate. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, often discussed the importance of living in the present. He wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which depends upon the morrow and wastes today." This quote highlights how worrying about what's to come or regretting what has already passed prevents us from living fully in the present. By focusing on the now, you free yourself from unnecessary anxieties that can detract from your relationships. When you are truly present, your time with others is infused with meaning and depth. As a result, people are more likely to miss your company when you're not around because they've experienced the richness of your presence. When you are engaged and truly listening to the person in front of you, they will feel valued and understood. This deep level of connection creates a bond that is far more memorable than surface-level interactions. People tend to miss those who make them feel special and heard. By embodying the Stoic principle of focusing on the present, you ensure that your relationships are rich with meaningful moments that others are likely to remember long after you've parted ways. A practical way to embody this Stoic principle is to be fully present when you're with someone. Put away distractions like your phone and focus on the conversation or the experience at hand. Give them your undivided attention and show genuine interest in what they're saying. By doing so, you'll create a more enjoyable and meaningful connection that will leave a lasting impact. When you're not around, they'll begin to miss the connection you shared, and the absence of your presence will feel more significant because of the value you placed on the time spent together. In relationships, the people who are most missed are those who show up fully and are present in the moment. When you give your undivided attention to someone, they feel seen and appreciated. And when you're not around, they'll remember the depth and significance of the time you spent together, making your absence felt more deeply. 6. Pursue virtue and purpose. Become a person of substance. The Stoics believe that living a virtuous life, guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation, is the key to true happiness. By aligning your actions with these principles, you don't just live a life of meaning and purpose, but you also naturally attract others who are drawn to your authenticity and integrity. A life lived according to virtue is magnetic because it radiates strength, direction, and self-respect. This is why, when you live with a clear sense of purpose, people begin to value your presence and will miss you deeply when you're not around. When you live with a purpose and pursue your goals with determination, you become a person of substance. People are not attracted to superficiality or fleeting attention. Instead, they are drawn to individuals who are passionate about their lives, who live by their values, and who add value to the world. This attraction comes not from seeking approval, but from embodying something real and admirable. You inspire others through your actions, your commitment to personal growth, and your ability to make a difference in the world. This sense of purpose gives you a unique appeal. And when you're not around, people miss you because you represent something important in their lives, a source of inspiration and motivation. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that we should focus on being the best version of ourselves, regardless of external circumstances. His teachings emphasize the importance of living virtuously, regardless of what happens around us. By dedicating yourself to the pursuit of virtue and meaningful goals, you naturally become someone that others look up to and admire. Your absence is felt because you bring something valuable and irreplaceable to their lives, not just in terms of attention, but in terms of the deeper impact you have on their personal growth and sense of purpose. In practical terms, focusing on your personal goals and values can be transformative. Whether you're advancing in your career, helping others, or pursuing a passion project, dedicating time and energy to what truly matters in your life makes you more attractive and memorable. People are naturally drawn to those who have direction, passion, and a clear sense of what they stand for. By living with purpose, you not only elevate your own life, but also become someone others admire and look to for inspiration. Living a life guided by virtue and purpose ensures that your presence has lasting significance. When you're absent, others will feel the void. Not because you're missing in a superficial way, but because your presence adds depth, meaning, and inspiration to their lives. This is the power of living a Stoic life. It draws people to you not through external validation or attention, but through the quiet strength of your actions and the integrity of your character. In relationships, trying to control how much someone misses you or how they feel about you often leads to disappointment and frustration. But when you apply Stoic principles, you shift your focus from external validation to internal growth. By cultivating emotional independence, controlling your reactions, and living authentically, you naturally become more attractive and, ironically, more likely to be missed. Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within, and by living according to virtue and purpose, we not only improve ourselves, but also enrich our relationships. So, instead of focusing on how to make someone miss you, focus on becoming the best, most authentic version of yourself, and watch as your absence becomes more significant to those around you.